Welcome, Hop Nation. Today, it's truly my honor to have my guest, Uwe Dockhorn from Germany on the show today. Uwe is a speaker, trainer, and coach to many. Someone I've had the privilege of working with. They call him the Lifestyle Liberator. And today, we're going to learn about his A.I.M system and a little more about the work he does. So please enjoy this podcast with Uwe Dockhorn. Welcome to the show, Uwe.
Well, it's a pleasure being here today, Corey.
Thank you. Well, it's our pleasure and our Hopster Nation's pleasure to have you here. For those that don't already know who this man is, I'm going to give you a bit of a brief bio, and we'll hear more about him throughout this podcast. So Uwe Dockhorn is known as the Lifestyle Liberator and has delivered over 15,000 coaching sessions worldwide in the last 12 years. He's the host of the Lift Off with Energizing Results podcast for high achievers. He's the founder of the A.I.M system, a simple 3-step life-changing experience for in-demand professionals who want to get their family mojo, double their financial security, and live in abundance in all areas of their life without feeling guilty or constantly questioning themselves. Now that sounds like something I think all of us want to hear about, Uwe. Thank you very much for being here.
Again, it's a pleasure being here today with you.
Thank you. Now, hearing that bio, we really want to know a little bit more about your background and how you became so passionate and came to do this work that you're doing.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for giving me the opportunity also to show a little bit more in depth how it all came by and also exploring the deeper why of what I'm doing today. And so, you know, it all started a long time ago, but essentially what is important is that to know is 6 days before Christmas 2016, my mother died and I became the last remaining member of my close family. So can you just imagine the full understanding of what is truly important in life that is held in a moment like that? Yeah, and but you can. And so she was the one that brought me into this world, and I always, you know, cherish that I was there for her, holding her hands when she left. You see, I loved my family, and it was my safe haven, like a campfire that you can come to feel comfortable, totally comfortable, you know, around just being there and just be part of a family. So, but of course, it wasn't always like this. As a young boy, I was sexually abused and told no one. I relied on that safe haven of family until I lost 2 very important members, my uncle when I was 16 and my father when I was 23. Something just broke inside of me. And I started to believe my family has given up on me. I distanced myself from the rest of them, even my mother, because I didn't tell her. I couldn't. You know, I didn't feel comfortable telling anyone what I was going through. When I looked around, I thought everyone else had it together. And it was me not coping. So after the death of my uncle and my dad, I had tried everything to compensate for the big hole inside of me where, my family used to be. But nothing worked. I became isolated, separated from friends, lost my job. I was overwhelmed, physically and emotionally exhausted, and felt there was no reason for being in this world. And I was convinced that I could not feel anything. And the truth was, I didn't feel anything. I was numb. That's when I found myself on the edge of a bridge. And I remember it was a crystal clear but bitterly cold winter night. And I was watching the stars, breathing cold air in and out. I could see my breath. I slowly leaned forward. I let go. But at that moment, something happened. While everything else was pitch black inside and out, I saw a tiny little light inside me. And then I felt it. Something sitting right under my nose, and because I hadn't been able to feel it, I couldn't perceive it. You see, for the very first time since my father had died 5 years before that, I felt something inside me and it drew me back. That night, I learned an important lesson, and it took me more than 20 years of continuous personal development to create the A.I.M system, my proprietary work, as you mentioned, that creates lasting results in people in 8 hours or less. It's just like on the bridge that night, the secret that essentially nobody in the industry of transformation and health is focusing on. Letting go is only 50% of the equation. Without the other half of the equation, letting go leaves you in free fall. So, what if I tell you the other 50% after you let go is to feel, perceive, and let in what is already there? It's like a muscle, letting go and letting in. It's a two-part mechanism, and it happens at the same time always. And we are so focused on letting go that we miss the opportunity to consciously bring in what is there in that very moment to help you to get into action and do things differently. So, for the very first time since my father had died, I felt something inside me on that bridge, and it drew me back from jumping. And you know, I made myself a promise 27 years ago that I'm still keeping today, is helping other people to learn this. And you know, it's kind of like breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting go is like breathing something out of your system, and letting in is like breathing in what is already there from your system. Both are connected, right? So, can you see how important to understand letting go and letting is for your well-being, for, you know, for your daily life, for your family life, for your business life, for the life, you know, with your relationships, the closer ones, your friends. And it's a mechanism to support you to achieve, as I always say, you know, energizing results daily.
I love that. And the energizing results, because a lot of times what we'll see is people put in all this effort and it can be draining, as you know. Like for most people, the effort expended isn't energy giving, it's energy depleting. So I'm fascinated. I know you're going to tell us a little more about the depth of some of how you're going to do it without giving away all the secret sauce, because I mean, literally, it's how you make a living. So I don't want you to have that, because I want you to, you know, have people coming to you and, you know, being able to benefit. Now, one of the things you've shared with me is this secret vitality formula for liberating lifestyle for high achievers. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what that is and even what that means?
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And yes, it's super important to have vitality, as we would all agree in our daily life and work, and even having enough energy for our family life, right? So, and it's also connected to creating these energizing results. And so, well, you know, one of the biggest issues with clients that I encounter too often is fear. And I always ask my clients at one point, so just can you imagine a scale? And maybe we can just do this here all together with you, if you're willing to do so, Corey. Is that okay?
Let's go vulnerable. Speaking of fear, now I have some fear, but I'll do this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. I'm cautious, so I won't push you to
No,
anything that
it's
you won't
okay.
allow.
It's okay.
Okay.
I like getting out of my comfort zone. Literally, you can see it there.
No.
A comfort zone's beautiful, but nothing grows there. So here's a
Okay,
chance to
here we
grow.
go. Wonderful opportunity. Thank you for doing this, Corey. It's just, I'm just giving you the formula. So, and it should be very enlightening. So, again, so just can you imagine a scale? And I let them draw a line just there. And on the left side of the scale is fear. And then I ask, what is on the other side of that scale? So my question to you, Corey, is what is on the other side of fear? When fear is on
Courage.
the one side, courage. Great. Okay. Well, it's in a ballpark. It's trust. And then I ask them, imagine where you are right now. Let's make it personal to you right now, so everybody can follow. So just imagine where you are right now in this very moment on that scale between fear and trust. And you just mentioned earlier, well, I assume it goes a little bit more towards fear, but where are you right now on that scale?
I'm probably at 70%, towards the trust. So I'm on the right side of it. I'm aware of, those limiting beliefs tied to the fear, but I feel there's momentum and I'm more confident and trusting what's ahead right now. And
Excellent. Yeah.
I think part of that is, to build trust or relationships, it takes time. It's not a flick of the switch. You don't buy a magic pill and it shows up. So there's still things that I'm having to do to get to that 100% faith. And I think faith and trust are almost, interchangeable at that end of
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
spectrum.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. And you're absolutely right. So, and it's always kind of like, I want to give you a tool that is also connected what I shared with you earlier. So there's also a reason to that because we have this scale from fear to trust here, but it continues. So the next thing is just imagine below there is another line, but this time it's an arrow. And that arrow starts from the left and goes to the right. So the beginning is on the left side under fear, and on the arrow is on the right side under trust. So now the left side gets a 0 and the right side gets the infinity symbol. The 8 that is laying on the side, I don't have to tell you. Okay, so and then, I would like to ask you, so how is this second line, the arrow, related to the one above that goes from fear to trust? So just name it. What do you think it is?
It's 100% correlated. I mean,
Yes, it's
that
correlated,
top
definitely.
one drives the not just where you're at on that bottom scale, but the velocity of moving to the infinity.
So what do you think? Is it velocity or what do you think it is?
Well, I think it determines the starting point, like where you're at on that scale of 0 to infinity. But also there's, the more trust you have, I think the faster you can move towards the right and infinity.
I see you. You're
I
also
think
engineer. You have an
it's not
engineer
a
mind.
either or, it's an and.
I get you. I think you have that engineer mind that's always thinking about effects and so on. So, but what essentially causes this effect, and that's what the second line, so to speak, in correlation to the first one is, and it is energy.
Yes, that makes sense. And that's where I think the velocity comment came in, because it gives
Absolutely.
you that greater energy that's going to allow you to progress so much faster.
Exactly. And so every time you feel you're closer to fear, you lose energy.
Mm,
And every time you decide to trust, you gain energy. And this is what I call the secret vitality formula. And it is E for energy equals T for trust minus F for fear. E equals T minus F. I told you, it's a formula.
I love it. I love it. And it was fun to be kind of this hairless guinea pig through that. That was fantastic. And, I love that you challenged me. Thank you. Now, we've
Thank you.
mentioned your proprietary A.I.M system, and I know there's three foundational principles. Can you share those three principles and maybe go deeper on one of them? I wouldn't want you to go into depth on all of them, because that's what people can reach out to you for. But if you could tell us what the A.I.M system is and the three foundational principles, that would be fantastic for us to hear.
Absolutely, you got it. Thank you for the opportunity. So the A.I.M system, just in general, is an acronym. A.I.M stands for activation, implementation, and manifestation. So, and it is a system that goes 3 levels deep. So you activate, you implement, and the deepest level is to manifest. So that's just what it is. But that's the process I developed over, as you mentioned also earlier, over the past 15,000 2-hour coaching sessions at least. So a lot of time was going into that. And so it always varies, it optimizes itself, but there are principles, these 3 principles, that are more important than the process, because they never change. They are universal so that the A.I.M system can work. And essentially, it's a deep dive into personal development. And that is why most other personal development systems fail, because they're not honoring these 3 foundational principles. So here are the 3 principles, and they are, the first one is, there is no reality. The second one is the elephant thinking effect. And the third one is, don't walk like an Egyptian. I know.
I love this, because we first connected through marketing channels, and you're a master of languaging for marketing and positioning with impact. And I think any of our listeners hearing that, there's a curiosity, and Hop Nation, you're going to want to go to the website and get even just a tidbit on each of these beyond this. But tell us a little more of those 3 foundational principles, because it's fascinating. And I love the wordplay.
Thank you. Thank you, Corey. Well, as I said, let's dive into one. So I'm going to make you the judge of which one we're going to dive deeper, because, folks can definitely come to my website. I run regular monthly live demonstrations where I cover, the other principle as well. So which one should it be?
Well, because I'm interested in all 3, and I'm sure I'm just going to make it simple. The first one is probably a foundational one, and then you go to the other one. So start with, there is no reality.
Okay, wonderful. So, as you just said, there is no reality. Actually, that is only the first part of it. There is no reality, and here it comes. There's only a map of reality. And every one of us has a unique map of reality. Let me repeat this. There's only a map of reality, and every one of us has a unique map of reality. So this unique map of reality is created by yourself so you can believe and feel safe to be able to perceive what is real to you. And this is your internal system of beliefs and values. So in every map there's a legend, ratios and definitions. There are beliefs, values, so you can understand better what this map is all about. But again, you created it. Therefore, for example, it's also the number one reason why you have arguments typically with your loved ones and any other relationship. Unless you share how to read your map of reality, you will be stuck in anguishing arguments over and over, at home and at work. And just think of it for a moment. Two people who love each other dearly are coming together and have an argument. The same applies to peers who are working together. Okay, so one has a unique map of reality and tries to communicate with the other one with a different unique map of reality without fully knowing and understanding each other's definitions, beliefs and values. What can go wrong, right? Look, here's a simple solution. And it starts by sharing your unique map of reality with your partner and loved ones or peers. And mostly this happens over time when you get to know each other better, right? But what if you're stuck in an endless loop of recurring old beliefs and patterns, or you want to stop putting yourself at the end of your priority list, or you make yourself too dependent on your partner and you want to feel more independent and more connected at the same time? Yes, this is when it typically becomes more complicated. But it doesn't have to be more complicated, and this is why each of you need to create a new map of reality first. When you're about to change, your lifestyle, your life, your relationships. And it's kind of like redecorating your house. If you have a clear picture what comes into your house instead of the old stuff, you're already letting in a new map of reality, right? And therefore you can achieve a respectful relationship, be eye to eye with your partner again, and stop your old dependencies, also known as your old map of reality. And that's how both partners get into their independence, where they finally can upgrade their relationship to become interdependent and claiming and respectfully loving each other's independence. And therefore you succeed with your personal growth and the development of having deeper and more robust relationships at home and at work. And of course, why isn't everyone using it? It sounds so simple. And that is what the elephant thinking effect is all about. So stay tuned.
Excellent. Well, that's fascinating because I know in our HOP work, we talk about mental maps a lot. So that speaks to, we all have different mental maps, and you can change mental maps. And what was fascinating is, and it's a question as kind of a follow-up, it sounds like whether it's with a spouse or someone in business, there's this first realization of you're coming in with two different mental maps, and those are at a subconscious level. We might know about them, or certainly they manifest in feelings and attitudes, which then play out in our behaviors and choices. But with this awareness, what I see is that there's almost a co-creation, and then through that co-creation, you have a shared congruent map. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And you mentioned also, there are, just to add quickly, so elephant thinking effect has something to do with blocks that are standing in the way, of course, therefore the elephant thinking effect. And don't walk like an Egyptian has to do with the correlation between your belief, the resulting patterns and the resulting behavior in your daily life and work. And so this is all connected and part of that principle. And that shared reality, let's call it that, for for relationships is definitely the new foundation that everything is built on. And I do this in the A.I.M system at the manifestation level and the deepest level, when at the end, kind of like as the mission accomplished stage, we create a mantra for your family. So that's the share where everything comes together. You developed your own independencies in your relationship, in order to prevent the big D word, a divorce that's up there, always looming over the horizon. And, in my opinion, a divorce is nothing else than creating independence outside of the marriage. So I help my clients to create that independence when they are married, during their marriage, in preparation to avoid and even divorce-proof their marriage. So essentially, we create a very compelling mantra to them that feels true. So the example I always give is from Stefan and Nicole. And so their mantra is echtes Herzblutleben. Well, you just listen to German. And translated means living true heart blood. And just having that sense of depth in your family and that is aligned creates already goosebumps in me. I don't know about you, but you know me, I'm all about goosebumps.
Absolutely.
and these moments. And so this is when, when we have these goosebumps moments created for the life partners, for couples, so they can have that changed container, safe container for their marriage.
That is fascinating. So one of the questions that comes up is, how do you differentiate from, say, family counseling or similar solutions in the work you do?
Well, you see, when I started working with business owners, executives, C-suite, medical professionals, I realized over time that from the perspective of their spouses or life partners, they are feeling, and I call them VIPs, as you know, the very important partners, obviously. So they are feeling more and more abandoned and asking themselves, what about me? What is the next step in my career? And, they feel guilty because of the kids, or when the kids are not there, they're constantly questioning themselves, so they have a lack of confidence too often. And they feel typically, literally, when you just compare it with two hands, I'm going to show you, they feel they are down here and their partner is more up here. So it's really demonstrating also to listeners only, there's a huge difference in where they are. And this is simply not a good and healthy relationship, right? So what differentiates me is that I will coach both partners individually. And I bring them with their results together in evaluation sessions. Well, you know me, I should call them more falling back in love sessions. Lots of goosebumps moments happening there.
Giggity.
Absolutely. So, so they can level up to have that eye-to-eye intimacy again, and that they love so much, and creating that deeper connection within themselves. And by the way, they also regain their independence with their relationship first. And then they rediscover, as just mentioned, their deeper connections and are ready to upgrade to their relationship, in their relationship, to an interdependent status where both of them cherish and honor their individual independencies. So what is even more important is that you see the VIPs not only want to provide emotionally for their family. They also want to provide financially. They want to contribute to their family. And that's why my promise to my clients is to get back your family mojo, double your financial security, and live in abundance in all areas of your life without feeling guilty or constantly questioning yourself. And the doubled financial security is more a qualitative than a quantitative measurement. And after the VIPs found their confidence again to restart their careers or start fresh as entrepreneurs, they ultimately want to be recognized for their expertise. So take Nicole, as I mentioned earlier, she's a typical, very important partner, and she said something along the lines of like the coaching with Uwe was a game changer for her, because she could level up to her husband Stefan regarding mindset, fulfillment, and motivation. And so this is kind of like also, and Stefan said, for example, after he came to me after his second burnout, he told to me, Uwe, you supported me to have more success in the job, but to work less, gain more money, and to find out what is really important to me in life. It's me and my family. So to that effect, that is why I love what I do and what I also do differently.
Right. I love that. And I think that doubling the financial security, it's doubling financial worth. So
Yes.
It's not about putting more time in or more input. It's getting more out of the time that you have. And that is more than a 2x, as you know. It's when you get that dialed, that special mix, it's that multiplier effect. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to add something here, because it's so, if I may, so there's,
Please.
is that okay? Okay, thank you. It's, the financial aspect is one thing. And as you just mentioned, it's double the worth of it. But, I spoke about abundance in all areas. So there are 7. So, and we're going to implement in each and every one of them. So it starts with the spiritual, intellectual, psychological, social, and professional, and recreational, and physical. So there's the whole range, you could say. And in each of them, there's a focus towards. And of course, in the professional, it's about the money. But it's really about the combination of all of them. That is the moment when they hit the abundance button, really kind of like boom, and there it is. So for both of them.
Well, and I would think having all of those, it's like cylinders of the engine within us, and that's that energizing with results. Now it makes sense. It's like getting all the cylinders firing. So, because if you're missing one, and that, it's just not going to run as well. And anyone that's had a vehicle that's blowing a piston or a rod or is sputtering, the effect that has. So excellent. Now, you've been able to talk a lot about the life's work and what you're doing, but what's exciting you and what is kind of new that you're working on right now?
I can't wait to tell you. It's really exciting. I was really looking forward to this. It's 3 letters. Y.F.M. And Y.F.M. stands for Your Family Matters. So Your Family Matters is a summit. It's born out of the idea that I run my podcast with guests like you and other experts in the field, and we always talk about the Goosebumps moment at the end of the podcast, which is a signature thing that I do and is born out of my work. So I really thought doing these episodes after episodes, like connecting with such amazing experts around the globe, what would be first of all, a good give back to them, just sharing their knowledge on my podcast. And so I came up with the idea to create a summit, where we can broaden our community and relationships that we already created over the last years, and bring it into one event. And essentially, there's more to it, because it's going to start directly after New Year. So it's going to start January 7th through 9, right, to kick off 2022 on the right foot from your family. And we dive much deeper into it to essentially see family as the catalyst for your success in your business, in your private life, obviously. I'm going to take you on a treasure hunt of exploring what it means to feel goosebumps moments. So there will be goosebumps points to discover, get inspired others with your goosebumps moments. So at the end of the day, you're going to walk away with a pathway for 2022, creating goosebumps moments at least once a month. Because from my experience and from now, I just recorded the 125th episode of my podcast, and from my experience, it's like there are experts on it. They share the Goosebumps story. It's like, oh, that's easy. It just happened this morning. So, and there are some like, okay, there's, in 2000 and, okay, so this is the range, of course. So I don't judge anybody, because it's always kind of like also meaningful when they have. But I noticed there's a pattern that, there's a tendency of maybe we could have more goosebumps moments like, you share on the show, or, and this is why, the motivation behind why I created the Y.F.M Summit. Now kicking off this year for the very first time. I already invited you, Corey, to that, and you're going to be part of it. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that. So that's what I'm really excited about. I hope it comes over, because I can't wait to start this and kick this off. And there's more. I'm gonna really want to continue also, not only being there. So the 3 days are essentially kind of like the first day under it stands under feel. The second day is going to be under know. There's going to happen live panels with other experts. We have 9 topics you can choose from, or all of them together. And the third day, we give it back to you, because it stands under do something. And you can imagine what's going to happen there with your loved ones. Yes, I think I hinted to that already enough.
That's excellent. And to clarify for our viewers here, is that an in-person or online? Like, will that be something that they have to fly over to Germany and attend in person, or will there be options to participate via the web?
Well, the option would be phenomenal, but no, it's online. So I would love, hopefully, if we can do this year after year after year, we can choose at one point locations that are not essentially in Germany, but having, kind of like a more retreat-like atmosphere. So aiming for that. But they're online, they're free to access, and so it's really kind of like we want to give back and create that sense of community, start a community. I will be, you will have the opportunity to continue also. Gonna create, a safe community feature, so you can join weekly. I will be there for free for half an hour a week to just continue the journey with participants. So it's really about creating that greater sense for these high achiever families and their loved ones.
That is so exciting, and I can see your excitement. And for listeners, any of you that are viewing this, I highly encourage you to register. We will make that available, but we'll also have the link to Uwe's website, so you can go there. And you have a newsletter that goes out as well, like they can subscribe somehow for updates?
Yes, definitely. There's a blueprint directly on the website you can download, and you're signed up to my list. But also, I see the announcement in the hello bar above about upcoming live demonstrations. They're not you don't need your credit card, so you can really tuck them away. I give really value, go more into depth of how the system works, so, and give some examples like Stefan and Nicole, for example, and do all that. So yes, definitely connect with me on my website.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Now, one of the questions I love to ask all our guests, and I know you are a high achiever yourself and drive for excellence in everything you do. What are 3 of your success principles?
Well, I put them together, of course. I'm German. I'm trying to be efficient and effective. So, and essentially, I don't know when I picked it up. So it's three words, just easy to remind myself, and it goes like this: smile, breathe, and walk slowly. That's it. Smile to bring you into the letting in, connecting yourself with the energy that you provide. Breathe, get the energy pumping, so to speak, and walk slowly. So be conscious and be focused on what you do and take care of your steps, essentially. So because if you take care of your steps, you're more likely to take care of others.
That's fantastic. And I know there's a lot of science behind those 3. So I know those to be success principles. So that's fantastic. Last question. Mm-hmm. Think of your 100th birthday celebration. Who do you want there and what do you want them saying about you?
Well, getting already into Goosebumps territory. Thank you for providing the opportunity here. It's really, the kind of like the transition point of my journey, looking back and looking into a community that I start to create today, and seeing all of them grateful that we all together have created something that I'm still consider my future vision from a perspective of right now, is that we can create a community, a global community that creates never-ending impact. That has impact globally, but directly locally, starting with your community and the ones around you, because the family is the smallest unit of a community. So it's all connected. So it's all about creating that sense of we're in this together, we're going to create never-ending impact around us.
Absolutely love that. And it's a perfect way to, bookend this podcast. It's been a pleasure, Uwe, to have you on the podcast, learn more about you and a lot of the principles that I know have profoundly impacted so many lives in those 15,000 coaching sessions you've had.
Well, thank you, Corey. You're too kind. And it was a goosebumpy experience for me. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Hop Nation, for tuning in this week for another wonderful episode. And if you haven't already, again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us, and share with friends. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.